So why would we need to have something like LinkedIn Sales Navigator? So if we come to this lovely thing we call LinkedIn here, and whenever you're trying to approach LinkedIn, I guess, for lead generation, finding your target audience, even thinking about, well, actually, what type of posts do well, you probably have at some point used this search bar at the top. Certainly, the stuff that we teach within within LinkedIn for Breakfast, on targeting and messaging and connecting and being within your audience, the search bar is vital because you've got to see the right people to be able to network with them. And so we teach some clever bits. You can see a couple of search terms in here where we're using the title, the industry sector, and then maybe the location geographically. And we're using things like pluses and minuses. It's a Bogian search or Bogian search. Ultimately, it's this, but not that, or this plus that. Helps us to be able to give the best chance of finding your audience using the free version of LinkedIn, right? So if I was just to kind of do that, let's go coach. So I want to use coaches. Maybe I want them to be speakers as well. So I can go coach plus speaker. And maybe then I want to have them to be in Surrey. And then I want it to be plus UK because there is a Surrey in Canada, right? So this is the type of search that you could do in the free version to try and find your audience, right? So let's just click on that here. Okay, and this will give us a nice list to play with. It always gives you 3 searches to start off with, 1, 2, and 3. And then you've got to click, see all people results, and you can then see a lot more. And there are some other bits that it allows you to do. So actually, you could use the location piece and actually go, well, actually want to go United Kingdom this way, and you could probably go and find Surrey and do it this way instead. So you can see here there's a Canada, but it's not in its infinite wisdom giving us the county of Surrey in the UK because it's just not that good. And it's annoying. So you can only do Red Hill or Ashford. So you kind of have to hack it like I'm doing. I can also look at second degree and third degree because I might not want to connect with my current connections, right? So I can go second and third. And now it's going to show me both of those, right? So now I've got 333 results, okay? And there's some other filters, so I can go into all filters, and it gives me location, maybe current company. I can look at connections of different people, followers of influencer accounts in there. And there's a bit of past company, school, industry, which actually could be quite useful for me because I could go business consulting services in this search and professional training and coaching. So those 2 could help. Profile language. And then it kind of service categories maybe. So I could do consulting, coaching, leadership development, executive coaching. So there's a few different categories within the one category. To be honest with you, all of those would work. And then you got some keywords. So it gives us enough to feel good. So if I kind of click this, it will now give me 70 results. And actually these 70 results could well be good. But lo and behold, the second person down is from Sheffield, which is not in Surrey. This first person is Bournemouth, which again is not in Surrey. God knows where this person is, but by the course of the first 2, maybe not. And look, I do this all the time, gang. So I know that actually that's quite a good search. Now, admittedly, I could try and cut out. I know I still need Surrey because it didn't give me Surrey, did it? Maybe I could cut out UK because I've done that already on the main thing. Maybe I don't need speaker, but again, Petersfield now, Bournemouth, London. I'm not finding any. Dubai, here we go. There's some Dubai, that famous province of Surrey. So I don't know. I don't know if they do this on purpose just to annoy me or annoy all of us. But you can't go that detailed. And God knows you couldn't work out what the revenue is of these businesses. You couldn't work out what the target headcount is of these businesses, which could be important, right? If you're an HR company or an HR consultant and you want to work with particular businesses to manage their HR as an outsourced HR, you don't want to be seeing people who are one-person companies. You probably don't even want people who are 10-person companies. You might want 10 to 500 people because that's your target, and you want them to have a certain revenue, and they want this to be an industry sector. So these are questions you've got to ask. Now, what about if actually you're trying to target female business owners let's just take that one, just female business owners. Well, there is no gender tick box here, so we can't even go there. But actually, what if we wanted to have female business owners who you might want to sell a weight loss service to, like coaching or personal training to, right? Well, there's nobody there. There's no way of being able to kind of find that in a search. Yet with Sales Navigator, there's different ways of being able to approach those problems by being able to filter in terms of groups that people are part of, in terms of positions and roles that they have. And I'm going to show you how we can attack some of these hard to find searches in due course. Cool. So the problem presented to you. Now, Sales Navigator becomes the solution. So Sales Navigator, yes, is a paid for product. I think it's about like 60 or 70 quid a month. It's an annoying amount of money. It's actually more than you would want it to be. If it was like 20, 30 quid, I'd be telling everybody just to go and just pay for it. It's just annoying. So you got to really want to be doing this lead generation and marketing stuff properly. And hopefully by showing this today, it will give the opportunity for you to think, actually, yes, it would be good to do it. Right. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to open Sales Navigator here. And so just so you can see there, by the way, Sales Navigator top right, it's appeared on my screen. That's because I paid for it and that's where it is. You won't have it until you upgrade to it. If you want to upgrade to it, you would just look at these boxes here. You can see these 4 boxes and you'll be able to find it in here alongside how to run ads, etc. It will be in here for you. Cool. So it will take you through to a dashboard that looks like this, or yours would probably look empty, of course, if you did start it. Now, to start off with, what I really like about this homepage is that it gives me a stream of notifications, very much like on your feed here. Let me just open this in the right click. On your normal feed on LinkedIn, where if you come in on any given day, you're going to get a lovely load of different posts that are being served to you. But within one post, I'm being hit by a promoted post here, which is someone who this is an ad straight away within one ad, right? And this is some other person, and this is the square. This is basically essentially everybody with my 16 odd thousand connections, and it's just basically giving me the stuff that it thinks it's going to keep me interested in liking stuff. So it's basically LinkedIn has the power to serve me whatever it wants to serve me, from ads to kind of viral stuff that's doing well, and it's going to try and hook me and I can start death scrolling in LinkedIn, right? That is not strategic from a business development point of view. So Sales Navigator allows me to aggregate together targeted lists of people, and then I see their feed. So what we're looking at right now is a feed of people who have put to or content that is specific accounts that I'm following and what they're posting. Okay, so let me just show you this. So I've got saved accounts. I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, or save lead lists. And I've got a lead list here of target coaches, and there's only 32 of them. So I've decided that these people are specific people that I'm currently looking to target. Maybe they've done something recently where I feel like they're people that might be interested in, say, what I do. And now I've just got 32 people, and I can see their latest content. So in the last 2 hours, this happened, this happened, this happened 1 day ago, 1 day ago. So Joe here obviously has launched a new podcast, right? So I can then click on this, and on the right-hand column, it's going to show me this piece of content that she's created. It's not going to take me through to the post or anything it is. It's just going to have this on the right-hand side. And so now I can go and look at this post and go, great, that's cool. Now, whenever I'm teaching people lead generation and marketing, we talk about clamming, right? And what does that mean? It's a bit of a strange acronym, but C is comment. L is like, A is add, and then M is message, right? So comment, like, add, message. So this is a great way of being able to approach target accounts. So if I've got a target account here and I'm not, say, connected to Joe, which I am, but if I wasn't, I could then actually go, oh, okay, there's a post here. This looks good. And she's just put out a new thing, and it's talking about a career progression of power and empathy and emotional intelligence. And so I can say, looks great. We'll give a listen. An interesting take on emotional intelligence from a Terry person. Thanks for the share, right? So now what I'm doing, normally I'll just use ChatGPT and ask it to make a comment, but what I've done now is I'm just doing a nice comment, looks really interesting, and so I'm going to comment, right? Bam. Click comment. So I've done that straight through Sales Navigator. Nice. I'm also going to like. I'm not going to use a normal like. I'm going to look at insightful likes, and now I'm up there, right? So I've commented, I've liked, and then I'm going to add. So if I'm not actually connected with her, which I'm not, now I can actually then send a connection request to her, right? So what I might do is just come out the post and just use this little button here. Oh, hello. No, I just think I need to just click on her like this. Come on. There you go. Perfect. So now I've got her up as an account on here, and then I can actually send her a connection request here, right? So send a connection request, and I can then reference what I said. The new podcast looks great, or the new podcast episode probably. Right. Looks great. Let's just say thank you for the share. You're looking. So it's there. The new podcast episode looks great. Thank you for the share. Perfect. Right. Send invitation. So now that's the ad. Okay. And then the ad also had a message. Right. So I've commented, I've liked on her post, I've then sent a connection request, and also that connection request had a message with the view that then she's going to come back and start talking to me. Would you agree, if you are Joe, that you would probably think, well, actually, I'll respond to Richard. It feels pretty authentic, because it is kind of authentic. Obviously, I'm looking at messaging. It's not like the normal kind of connect and pitch, right? So now I've got Joe, but the beauty of this, because there's only 32 of these accounts, I'm going to see what she connects with yet next. I'm going to see what she posts next. I'm going to be able to actually see a lot more information around here, and I can start to see other things that she's doing, and I can also start to see what we share in common or who we both know. And we can also look at introductions, because these are the connections that she's connected with that we have in common. And I could ask some of these people to introduce me to her as well. So it's really good kind of focused marketing work, and it can have a great impact, right? So this is why I like it. And you can be really in Joe's world. So that's what Joe shared, and I sent her a comment, but the next time she posts, it will come up on my lead filters like this. Same with the rest of them, and I can work these accounts in a very focused point of view, because from my perspective, it's hard to work 16,000 accounts because those are my connections, but it's a lot easier to work 32 of them. And so that's where I can kind of optimize my time, right? So there becomes the way that you can start to filter. So that's one point of it. The next point of this is then we can actually start to do lead filters. Okay. So this is when we want to search for new people. So let's click on lead filters here. And then this gives us the amount of different things that we can start to filter from a personal point of view. Because there's two types of filters. There's accounts, that's the company filter. That has things like the revenue and stuff that I'll show you in a second. And this then has actually the individuals. This is a little more about the person. So here we can look at things about the company. So for example, I can actually do company headcount in here if I wanted to. So I can look at self-employed. I can look at 1 to 10, for example, maybe. I can actually look at the type of company that they're part of. So actually, is it a privately held, non-profit, etc. So let's just try and make sure, because if we actually say these specific things, it's going to actually discount other things, because I don't want to necessarily have non-profits in there or educational institutes or publicly listed companies. And it's going to tell me the different numbers that I could potentially access if I added those in, but I don't need to, right? So now starting to find the right companies. I can look at their current company or their past company. That's very good if you're a B2B and working that way. Now, I wouldn't necessarily, for me, I don't worry about companies' headquarters, because I'm going to do that further down when I look at the individual. So now I can look at the function for the individual, and I can see if they're in sales or marketing and operations or consulting or whatever it is. So again, this is very good when you're looking at bigger companies. I don't go there. I actually look at the seniority level, because I just want to talk to the owners. That's what I want to do. You can do individual job titles if I wanted to. So I could start to type in, human resources if I wanted, and there's all the different human resources. So I can get to the HR director if I wanted to, or I could, find the accountant within these business, and I can go find that. But because I'm looking for smaller businesses, I just go seniority level, and I will go director, and I will also go owner and partner. And I think that's everything I do. So I'm not worried about the senior people so much. And I definitely don't want entry level. And I'm not worried about the CXO, the chief experience officer. Maybe the vice president, but to be honest with you, when I'm targeting people in the UK and Ireland, a vice president tells me that they're a bigger business. So I don't worry about that, right? You can look at job titles specifically if you really wanted to. It's in the past ones. You can look at years in current company, which is quite nice, right? Because I know a few people that target people who are less than 1 year, because they want to actually specifically get in with new people, new employees. So that can work well. Or years in current position if you want to actually work. So I know a company who's trying to help people exit their business. And she, therefore, wants to make sure that they've been in the business more than 10 years, because then that's a good time to talk to someone about maybe selling their business, right? So you can see how you can work through all these different elements. Geography, that's super easy. This is where I go. So I'll go United Kingdom. And I always say to people, don't forget Ireland, because Ireland is a great market. And if you're targeting the UK, I believe you should always have Ireland in there. They're just so similar. It's just such a similar way of working with people. So if UK works, then I always say, don't forget Ireland. Now, industry sector, this can be good. So for me, I just type, I type in coaches, or if I work with a number of different business service sector companies, so I might just go professional services in there, but let's just be a little bit more specific. And what I want to draw your attention to here, top right, you can see here, it says 8,000 plus results, top right. So I'm really whittling down from millions to now I've got 8,000, and and I keep on flicking over and having a look, and look here, finally, we're getting the right sort of people here. We're getting the right sort of people, not getting, everybody's looking very familiar. Now, here's a fun thing, right? So if anybody wants like a super tactic, some people will use an outreach tactic. And this is cool. This is a bit ninja, where they'll do a video. And in that video, I'll go, hi, Nick, how are you? Just thought I'd reach out. Love what you do on your profile. We'd love to have a meeting with you. I see a couple of things that I can maybe help you with, right? And the reason why I've done that is that I can then search for all the people with the first name of Nick and stick that into a search. And now I can send that same video to 57 people. And bam, 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 bam. That's a real cool ninja tactic. Faye, you like that one. Look at that. I like that. Go on, Faye. So, so it's cool. And here's the other thing that when we do this with clients, we then say, well, actually, what's normally the target age of, say, the type of client that you want to work with? Say you want to work with them, if they're in their sort of, late 30s, early 40s. So you can say 80s top birth names. And so now you then do a search. So obviously Michael and Jessica would be the first ones that you would do, and Christopher and Jennifer would be the next ones, right? Matthew and Amanda would be the next ones. So that then helps you to kind of actually go, well, that would probably be the most likely ones that I could work with. Cool, huh? Anyway, that's a little side. So have a little play with that. Next, you do profile language. So profile language can work really well when, for example, if I wanted to target expats in Spain, I could then go Spain, but with the profile language of English. And that does help you to get to expats. Years of experience, groups. Now, here's an important one. We talked about groups being something like if you wanted to target women. There is no drop down for females here, but you can join a load of groups, and those groups then you can search for the people. So you can actually list out all the female groups that you're part of. And you have to be part of these groups to be able to get into these groups. I only join these. There's a couple here I joined just for demonstration purposes, but this is more for you to be able to, if you are a woman trying to target women, this works a lot easier. It's obviously harder if you're a chap, although there is men within there. You can now say, if you can get into these groups, most of the people are going to be the right type of people for you to be targeting, and then that can create a really good list for you. That can also be the same if you're trying to target people for things like weight loss. So, for example, there may be people that are in groups for things like keto, for example. They are interested in losing weight because they're in a keto group or a vegan group or whatever it is. And so then you can actually start to target those groups. I know someone one of our clients deals or coaches people with chronic illnesses, and she is part of lots and lots of groups that relate to that and then does that search based upon this. Cool. If they're schooled or you want to reach out to people who went to a school that you went to, you could do that as well. And then there's a number of other little kind of interesting things where maybe if they're following your company or they've recently viewed your profile, you can click those on. So that's quite cool. So we can actually see, look, here's the 49 people who are in this search that actually looked at my profile. So that's good. So maybe what I should be doing with these, for example, is Janet here. I should be saving her to a list, right? So I could be saying save and target coaches, because clearly Janet would be a really good person for me to target, right? So same with maybe Sarah, I don't know. But again, I can be adding these people to lists and works well. Just as I'm talking about that as well, guys, you have the ability to add to lists from LinkedIn as well. So say you come across someone that you like the look of on here, I can then actually click on this person, and it now gives me a widget that says save in Sales Navigator. And actually, I can now have saved Tom into Sales Navigator by doing that. Oh, saved. There you go. Perfect. Save again. It keeps on saying unsaved, but now he's been saved within my lists within Sales Navigator. So I can be doing it on the front end as well when I'm maybe seeing content, and I can be doing it on the back end. So really, really cool, right? The final thing I want to say here before I go on to accounts, I think that's important, is I can look at recent updates, and I can now say, and let me just turn off this recently viewed your profile piece. So now I've got 8,000 people, but I want to make sure these 8,000 people are most likely to accept my connection request. So therefore they need to be active on LinkedIn. So I can actually click this button that says, have they recently posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days? And now that means that these people are the people that recently posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And so therefore they are active, and I can then go and save them and, make them the people that I want to target, right? Or just like work on this list. I can start connecting with them this way, right? But this is really good. And you can save this search, any search, and then come back to it and you'll get updates. And when new people join it, you'll see new people joining, etc. Right? And also, this is good for people trying to get to corporates. You can tick on this one to see when they've just recently changed jobs. So if someone changed a specific job and you want to be able to try and get into them when they change job, there's a good time to be a new supplier. Then you can actually target people who change job. Cool. So, oh, sorry. And also, you've got account lists in here, right? So I'm about to show you account lists, but what you can do is you can actually combine the two for one search. So I can say, here's exactly the type of person, which I just showed you. And then I can also say, here's the exact type of company that I want to target. And then I can merge the two and say, right, of these people, are they in my target coaching company list? And so they're the right type of company, the right type of person, then bam, it's like the most amazing search, okay? But I got like 2,500 here, which is great. So let me just show you accounts. So here again is a couple of things that we can put out. Let's just want to move there. Perfect. So I can now look at things. I talked about annual revenue. I can then click on stuff like this, and actually I can then look at the actual annual revenue. So I can go, right, let's work in proper money, pounds, and then we can go, maybe I want people who are under, because obviously my business is called $1 Million Sprint, right? So there's no point me having people who are over $1 million in revenue. So I want people who are under $500,000 in revenue because we want to help them to get to over $1 million in revenue, right? So I want to go from minimum 0 to 0.5, and then I can add that here. And now it will show me all of these accounts. And the beauty of this is, look, it's going to give me a bit of a guide on that revenue figure, exact guide in here. And it's going to tell me who the employees are here. And I can start to save this search, which is super cool. So I can actually then start to go, oh yeah, that would be a good, well, actually, that's not a good one. That would be, I don't know, let's go for this. So this would be a good account. Great. Let's go and save this one to my list. And I'm going to save this to my target coaching companies list, right? So I now can start to save these people. I'm going to show you this list because it's also going to help me to reach out to these people. So I've got these cool people in here. I can look at how many followers that they might have. So for me, I don't want to necessarily have people with lots of followers on their LinkedIn company page. I'd say probably, I don't want 5,000. I want those. I would be saying, people who have maybe under 1,000 followers, probably, if they're starting at 500 followers or whatever on their page, they've got their marketing locked in. But these would be the accounts that have under 1,000 followers on their page. So they're kind of small. I can look at things like, again, looking at headquarters, etc., and I can start to put this together. If you want to target the Fortune 500 or the Fortune 50 or the Fortune 250, you can actually have that in. You can look at how their company headcount has grown, how big their company headcount is. So there's a number of other cool things you can put together in here, right? So that gives me a list of accounts that I want to work and people that I want to work. So let me just kind of go back and just click on accounts here, because once we've saved this, this will give us a list of accounts. And you can see I've got 173 accounts that I want to work on here. I'm not sure why M&S is up there. Those will have to be removed. But here's the list of companies that I've got saved in here. And then if something sneaks through, like say Adobe there, I can then unsave it because they wouldn't be right for me. It might just be because someone who's a target coach is actually working there. But anyway, let's just remove those. So now I can see these targeted businesses, and then I can start to see on the right-hand side, lead recommendations, and then it will show me the type of person who's the best person at this business to reach out to. Again, I can then go and click on her, and I can then actually see it's the first time I viewed her. So that's good for me to know. I can then start to see lots of information around her, like a current role. I can look at the links. I can see her about section in here to see what she's all about. I can see the relationship and people we both know, which is good for introductions, education, and other things, right? And any timeline instead of stuff I've done. So therefore, I can then just click on this, press connect, and then I can say and send out as a message, and it will save her as a lead. So it's ninja. And you know what the beauty of this is, gang? Is just to kind of give you full 360 degrees, and then I'm going to pop up for air and ask you guys how maybe you use it. You'll see on some of these sessions that I do, I talk about automation, and we use automation. We use this thing called Leadith. If you want, Flora, could you just make a note to link up the session that we did on automations that go with the replay of this session to everybody when we send it out to everybody, please? Because I think this will help to square the circle. I don't know. This will just help to kind of add a little bit more context. But this is how I do an outreach campaign, is because I don't want to have to be spending a lot of time doing those messages and stuff. I would like to just get and connect with as many people as possible and then start messaging. So what I do is I take these accounts lists and I take these leads lists, most specifically these leads lists, and I can add them into an automated outreach. So I can go and take these target coaches. It gives me a URL at the top here, and these are all the people. I can copy this URL. I can go over to my automated connection request and messaging campaign, and I can then go press edit to this. And you see all these saved searches in here? I've added so many searches of people from Sales Navigator into this, and then they start going through my pipe, which is a connection request, a certain set of emails and messages inviting them onto stuff like we're on today. And that means that I've built the building blocks for a messaging and a connection and then messaging sequence. And when they start to reply, then those replies I can start to then reply back to, and then it becomes, I'm actually doing as a proper messaging. But the initial work of finding them and then connecting and messaging, I just push through an automated pipe. So I do a lot of work in Sales Navigator here to find the right people. I then push them through an automated pipe of messages. And when people do respond, they find themselves in our inbox. And then obviously I can actually have a bespoke conversation with people from there. So I love this from a perspective of finding exactly the right people at the right businesses who are active, who are ready to network on the world's biggest professional network. I then make sure that I'm attentive in their world by seeing them and looking at their content and commenting on their content. And between a connection and message campaign and a being omnipresent in a non-spammy way, that's how we get a significant uplift in our leads, and it warrants the investment within Sales Navigator.